I have my next guest from PragerU. Her name, and she's actually the CEO of PragerU, is Marissa Streit. I think I'm saying her name right. Y'all know I can't read, but I know Marissa. She's a wonderful woman. Y'all can follow her on X. Her handle is Streit. I think it's how you say it. Marissa, one word. Follow her on social media. Hey Marissa, how you doing?
Hello, my friend. How are you?
I feel like I always say your
You're so
last name wrong.
you're
Am I
so
saying it
good
wrong?
at saying my last name. Every time you think you get it wrong, but you get it right. You're so good.
Awesome,
You get an
awesome,
you
awesome.
get an A at PragerU.
Okay, cool. I love that. I appreciate it. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I got a couple questions I want to ask you. Recently, Louisiana became the seventh state to add PragerU to the social studies as a social study resource. Can we talk about how you guys got to this point, obviously, in getting the ability for PragerU to be associated with schools, teaching children, uh, I guess, informing them in a more conducive way? Can we talk about the material and how you guys have gotten more and more schools to get on board with having these resources?
Yeah, I mean it's such an amazing opportunity for us to serve. I was a teacher. I'm sure you might remember this about my background. I taught K through 8th grade, and my passion is really to serve kids, families, and teachers. And sadly, there are bullies who are preventing good Americans from learning what they should learn about America. And so PragerU has produced content for schools to use. And we are already in 7 different states. We've partnered with superintendents of education who basically said, look, the teachers can look through the material, they can see if it's helpful to them, and if it's helpful to them, they can make the choice to bring the stuff into the classrooms. And so, less than a month ago, we went to Louisiana. We announced this partnership in front of 7,500 teachers at their teacher conference. And one of the interesting things about Louisiana is that they are starting to bring American exceptionalism and civics into the classrooms. They want to make sure that the kids are learning these things, but the teachers, many of them don't know civics. Many of them are really struggling with this content. I can tell you that we were doing these seminars at these teacher conferences, and the teachers came up to us and said, "Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm watching these short videos where I'm learning the civics myself, and then I'm turning around and showing it to my students." So helpful. They were just so enamored by the content that we made. And, it's just, I think it's our duty and our pleasure to serve. Americans are starting to wake up. They're realizing that they're being robbed of a true education, and they want the help. And we're offering it to them for free. And so why would they say no? And really, that's where the drama comes in. And you'll hear why they're being basically forced to say no in some situations.
I think it's quite ironic that if you look at it for what it is, the educational resources that you guys provide on a plethora of different topics are very truthful. They're verified. Why do people have a problem? I see that a lot of the left leaning Democrat lawmakers are trying to push back and want to threaten legal action against you guys. What's going on with that?
Well, that's exactly right. So the parents want us, the kids want us because we're fun and entertaining. We're a great way to learn. And the teachers want us because we're helpful to them. And the people who don't want us in schools are the bureaucrats and the leftists. And they will do everything possible, including lie, in order to avoid PragerU being in schools and in order to maintain the power that they've had for far too long. It has gone so far that they actually tried to pass a bill labeling PragerU as anti Semitic and discriminatory. I'm holding here. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, right? Like anybody who knows Dennis Prager or knows me. I mean, I was like, I told these lawmakers, if you can say this to me in Hebrew, I'll accept it because I happen to speak Hebrew, right? I happen to, it's like, do you even understand what a Jew is that you're calling me an anti-Semite? I lived in Israel for a big part of my life, and Dennis is an Orthodox Jew. And I'm holding here this resolution from the Democrats in Louisiana that basically makes the statement 5 times, 5 times. So it's not a typo. 5 times they make a claim that PragerU is anti-Semitic. You can't make this stuff up. You just can't make
It's
this
sa-
stuff up.
it, it's sad that they it's sad that they are robbing young people of an opportunity to learn, and then they are lying and gaslighting people as to the reason why they want to, push up against you guys. I mean, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life, being anti-Semitic from Jewish people. I mean, that bothers me, and for two major reasons. One is because if I had children going to schools, I would love for them to have the opportunity to see what you guys have to offer. You guys have been just changing the game, especially for young people. You've had tremendous people that Amala. I mean, I love Amala. I forget the other kid's name, but you have Aldo right now. Will Witt used to be a part of PragerU, and I cannot think of his name right now. I
Yeah, there's
absolutely love him.
Xavier. There's
Xavier, I think
Xavier.
works
There's
now. What
CJ.
was the young? What was the
Yeah,
young man? Dark skinned guy. He was similar to Xavier. I forget his name. We
CJ.
love him, man.
CJ.
Yeah,
Yeah, CJ
you guys
Pearson.
have had so many wonderful young people that have done such a tremendous job. But what do you guys? What do you think the perspective is for you guys to get in all? Well, maybe not all 50 states, because you have some that's just going to reject you. But what's the next move for you guys with getting this in more educational facilities?
You know what, Brandon? We're going to make it into every single state because they have nothing on us. They have nothing on us. And we have the parents on our side, and we have truth on our side. We have God on our side, and we are serving children. And so the bureaucrats will come up with ways to try to prevent us from getting into schools, and they'll lie about us. But ultimately, America is smart. Americans are active. And because these leftists are coming after our kids, America is going to be stronger than ever. Parents are waking up. And so I actually believe that we're going to make it into every single one of the states. We might not make it into every single county, but even in California, there are many counties that are already begging that we'll make it in there because, we're doing good work and people are seeing that, and we're optional. That's the whole thing. We don't believe in big government or forcing anything on anybody. We just say, look, we're going to make the best content ever. We're going to teach your kids financial literacy. We're going to teach them history. We're going to teach them civics. And if you like what we're making, and if your kids are enjoying and learning, you're going to make the choice to bring us into the classrooms. And that's what's happening. And the unions and the bureaucrats, they don't like that because they're the fascists. They're the ones who want complete control, right? We're saying we're optional, and then they're pointing at us, calling us anti-Semites and fascists, where they're the ones who are actually engaging in fascism.
Yeah, that's the way they do it, Marissa. They fight fascism with fascism. They fight racism by being racist, is what they say. And I pray for you guys. I hope that you guys have an opportunity to be in every single school district, every school in the district, because it's only right that our children have exposure to a diverse level of thought that's verified. My oldest son, and obviously we put him in a different school now, but my oldest son had to be bombarded and just overwhelmed with propaganda. If I hadn't been his dad, I mean, maybe he would succumb to the propaganda. But I mean, they have Palestine points, they have pride flags, they do all kinds of things that have nothing to do with these kids' education. You go and look up the ranking of the school, and 10% of kids can't even function in math, but they can tell you what transgender is. And so I love that you guys the content is always fair, it's balanced, it's nuanced, but it's verified, and it's not biased and have this coercive thought behind it. It's really well put together material. So how do you guys continue to do such a great job at putting together the material and recruiting young talent like you already have?
One of the things that we're doing is listening. We're really listening to our audience. The recent thing that we've been hearing about is that Americans don't know how to read. If you don't learn how to read before you're in fourth or fifth grade, you are really going to struggle. Your child is really going to struggle. And it is mind-boggling to me that young Americans can't read because we have all the resources in the world. We really do. I mean, there is so much financial support in so many schools, and the fact that we are producing generations of children that can't, like you mentioned math, but they also can't read. And if you can't read, you can't have a window into history. You can't have a window into civics. You don't even understand your rights. So we're working on a literacy show for little kids. We're working on just everything that we can in order to arm parents with the ability to support their own children, and in order to support teachers who really want to do right by their students and don't have the resources because the bureaucrats are
Yeah.
robbing them.